From Boston to Honolulu, resistance to Donald Trump is intensifying in 2025. Massive rallies like No King's Day have drawn millions across liberal-leaning states, while approval ratings in places like Vermont and Hawaii have plunged below 30%. This isn't just political disagreement. It's a nationwide backlash against what many see as authoritarianism. In states like California, Massachusetts, Oregon, and Illinois, Trump's aggressive immigration policies, military deployments on U.S. soil, and attacks on social programs have triggered protests and legal challenges. His approval rating continues to drop in urban and progressive strongholds, with organized opposition from immigrant communities, suburban women, and younger voters. Grassroots movements have exploded. From Vermont town halls to Oakland marches, citizens are standing up. Governors, city mayors, and lawmakers are openly defying federal directives. As midterms approach, these states are not just resisting, they're reshaping the political battlefield. In this video, we count down the 10 U.S. states where Trump is most hated in 2025 and uncover what's fueling this rising outrage. From falling poll numbers to explosive protests, the message is clear. The opposition is growing louder and more determined than ever. Number 10. Illinois. Illinois has seen a dramatic spike in political opposition to Trump in 2025. A recent poll shows only 37% of Illinoisans approve of his performance, with 61% disapproving. Chicago, the state's liberal heart, has become a hub for resistance. Community organizers have launched renewed Know Your Rights campaigns across the city in response to Trump's expanded ICE raids, aiming to protect undocumented residents. Public transportation, libraries, and schools now display legal aid information. Rallies are common, with June's No Kings protest drawing hundreds to Millennium Park. Labor unions, immigrant advocacy groups, and young voters lead the charge. The state's diverse electorate, especially in Cook County, is increasingly mobilized by what they see as authoritarian overreach. Trump's cuts to federal social programs have also angered working-class families, further shrinking his support. Even moderate Republicans in suburban districts are distancing themselves. With midterms looming, Illinois may not just reject Trump at the polls. It could become a blueprint for national resistance. Number 9. Oregon. In Oregon, especially Portland, the pushback against Donald Trump has reached new heights. Only 37% of Oregonians currently approve of him, while disapproval hovers above 60%. On June 14, 2025, Portland saw one of its largest protests in recent memory during the No Kings March. Tens of thousands filled the downtown area, chanting slogans against immigration raids, budget cuts, and federal overreach. The rally featured young climate activists, labor unions, and immigrant rights organizations standing in unity. Trump's policies on public lands, health care, and law enforcement have particularly incensed Oregon's voters. Portland's progressive Gen Z population, combined with the influence of organized labor and environmentalist groups, has made the state a fortress of organized dissent. Smaller cities like Eugene, Ashland, and Bend have joined the movement with rallies of their own. Across Oregon, political leaders have condemned Trump's actions as harmful to democracy and civil rights. As the state prepares for 2026 elections, it's clear opposition to Trump is no longer protest, it's policy. Number 8. Delaware. Delaware, one of the smallest states in the nation, is playing a disproportionately loud role in rejecting Donald Trump in 2025. Polling shows only 36% of Delawareans support Trump, while 61% disapprove. Though often overshadowed by neighboring Pennsylvania, Delaware has made its stance clear through peaceful yet pointed demonstrations. In Wilmington and Dover, thousands have participated in rallies emphasizing civil rights, health care protections, and immigrant justice. Much of the backlash stems from Trump's controversial federal crackdowns, which many in Delaware see as violating democratic norms. Teachers, union members, and local clergy have become outspoken, while youth groups organize teach-ins and democracy cafes on college campuses. Even centrist voters are turning away, citing Trump's disregard for institutional checks and balances. Local leaders are echoing national concerns, passing resolutions that challenge Trump-era policies. As the 2026 midterms approach, Delaware may be small in size but not in message. It stands firmly against Trump's vision for America. Number 7. Washington. Washington state has become a lightning rod of organized resistance against Trump. In 2025, only 36% of voters approve of the president, while 64% disapprove, one of the widest gaps in the country. In June, Seattle's No Kings rally drew over 70,000 people, setting a new record for civic protest in the state. Across Tacoma, Olympia, and Spokane, marches, sit-ins, and public forums have surged. The outrage centers on Trump's policies affecting immigration, environmental protection, and healthcare. With a population rooted in environmental activism and progressive politics, Washington has loudly rejected federal climate rollbacks and ICE operations. Governor Jay Inslee and local lawmakers have pledged legal support for undocumented families and have vowed to block federal overreach. Even moderate Republican districts are experiencing internal fractures, as suburban voters demand a return to decency and democratic accountability. With grassroots support peaking, Washington has signaled that its resistance isn't symbolic, it's a full-scale mobilization. Number 6. Rhode Island. Rhode Island may be small in size, but its opposition to Trump looms large in 2025. Polls show just 36% of residents support him, with disapproval hitting 62%. In June, thousands rallied at the Providence State House for a No Kings protest, voicing outrage over immigration raids, healthcare cuts, and what they describe as Trump's authoritarian style. The protest included labor unions, teachers, students, and clergy, creating one of the largest cross-generational movements in the state in years. The state's urban core and diverse working-class population have been especially vocal. Community organizers cite proposed Medicaid cuts and aggressive ICE enforcement as direct threats to Rhode Island families. Progressive lawmakers, including U.S. Senator Jack Reed, have taken a strong public stance, reinforcing their opposition with policy proposals aimed at shielding vulnerable groups. Even in smaller towns like Newport and Warwick, solidarity events are popping up. Rhode Island's message is unified. Trump's agenda is not welcome, and local leaders are ready to push back. Number 5. California. California's resistance to Trump has only intensified in 2025. Approval ratings are down to just 33%, with 64% disapproving, the lowest in over a decade. A catalyst came in late May, when Trump ordered 2,000 National Guard troops into Los Angeles during immigration raids. State leaders, including Governor Gavin Newsom, condemned the move as authoritarian overreach. Days later, protests erupted in San Francisco, Oakland, and across the Central Valley, uniting liberals and moderates alike. The opposition stems from more than just Trump's immigration stance. His rollback of environmental protections, cuts to federal funding for sanctuary cities, and rhetoric around social programs have mobilized a broad coalition. Latino communities, suburban families, and Silicon Valley tech workers have aligned in defiance. Even local governments have responded, passing resolutions to resist federal intervention. California isn't just rejecting Trump at the ballot box. It's crafting a policy firewall. The Golden State's message is unambiguous. Federal intimidation won't be tolerated here. Number 4. Massachusetts. Massachusetts remains one of the most hostile states toward Donald Trump in 2025. Current polling shows only 32% of voters approve of him, while 66% disapprove. Opposition surged again this spring when thousands braved heavy rain in Boston Common to protest what they called Trump's war on civil rights. Educators, medical workers, and suburban women formed the backbone of these rallies, backed by progressive lawmakers and university students. The state's political culture, rooted in academic liberalism and historic activism, has rejected Trump's agenda at every turn. From border crackdowns to attacks on public health care, Massachusetts leaders have passed legislation to counter federal moves. Boston, Cambridge, and Springfield have seen sustained turnout at weekly demonstrations. State senators, including Ed Markey, have called out Trump's authoritarian tone, linking it to Democratic backsliding abroad. Even moderate Republicans are choosing silence over support. With legal efforts and grassroots energy surging, Massachusetts sends a clear signal. It will stand firm against Trump's vision for America. Number 3. Maryland. Maryland has grown into one of Trump's fiercest critics in 2025. With only 30% approval and 65% disapproval, the state's response is deeply rooted in both its liberal base and its large population of federal workers. In June, Baltimore hosted one of the largest No Kings rallies on the East Coast, joined by unions, advocacy groups, and Democratic lawmakers from Annapolis to Montgomery County. The backlash reflects Trump's attacks on social programs, civil rights, and the federal workforce. Governor Wes Moore has condemned Trump's budget priorities, calling them an insult to Maryland's values. Suburban women in Montgomery and Prince George's counties have emerged as a powerful bloc, citing fears over healthcare access and education cuts. Teachers, postal workers, and civil servants have turned out in force, while local governments offer legal aid to immigrants and protesters facing federal scrutiny. With statewide coordination and high civic engagement, Maryland's resistance has moved from protest to sustained political pressure. Number 2. Hawaii. Hawaii may be geographically distant, but it's right at the heart of the anti-Trump movement in 2025. With an approval rating of just 28% and disapproval near 69%, it ranks among the most anti-Trump states in America. The June No Kings protest saw major demonstrations across all islands, with Oahu alone drawing over 10,000 people to the state capital. Protesters cited Trump's immigration raids and National Guard deployments as attacks on civil liberties. Hawaii's strong multicultural identity, with large Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, makes Trump's rhetoric feel especially threatening. Veterans groups, teachers' unions, and faith leaders have all joined the opposition. Even local lawmakers and the governor have called Trump's policies divisive and anti-democratic. Cultural resistance is strong. Traditional ceremonies, local surf events, and church gatherings have become places for organizing. In Hawaii, the message is clear. Federal overreach has no place in island life, and residents are ready to defend democracy however long it takes. Number 1. Vermont. Vermont tops the list in anti-Trump sentiment for 2025. A recent poll shows only 27% of residents approve of the president, with over two-thirds strongly disapproving. The state's deeply rooted progressive values, shaped by a long history of civic participation, make Trump's policies particularly unwelcome. Vermont's rural towns and urban centers alike have mobilized around issues like birthright citizenship, healthcare access, and democratic accountability. Grassroots groups such as VT Resist have expanded rapidly, holding town halls and weekly rallies across the state. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have publicly condemned Trump's recent actions, including military deployments and attempts to defund public institutions. Even Republican Governor Phil Scott has voiced criticism. Small towns like Brattleboro and Montpelier are actively passing resolutions against federal directives. Vermont residents view their resistance as not just political, but moral. In the Green Mountain State, the opposition isn't temporary outrage. It's a way of life,